Molly Ringurneck. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Molly Ringurneck. Um, I've been skating roller derby stuff since like 2009, I believe, was our first bout.
Oh,
Um, I currently skate with Roughneck Roller Derby in Oklahoma, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And yeah, I don't know what else you want from me.
I want you to tell everybody that you're my derby wife.
Oh yeah, okay. So that's probably important. As derby goes, you get a derby wife or a derby partner or whatever. And my derby wife is the very famous and awesome Harley Hitter. Uh and so yeah,
Why?
so we got married. We got like officially derby married in Las Vegas back in what 2010, I believe.
At least you're getting the dates right. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And
fast. You really are. That's
yeah,
you're the longest relationship I've ever been
same sister. Same. The longest and the most like healthy.
in. That's yeah, that's awesome. I can say
Yeah.
I'm in a I'm in one healthy relationship.
Exactly, right? Like we got that going for us, dude.
And the longest.
Exactly.
Okay.
Hmm.
So when did you fall head over skates for roller derby?
So I had seen on TV some like roller derby chicks at like some parade back when I was living in San Antonio, Texas. And I saw them and they were all cool and they were like skating along with the parade and shit. And I was like, I think I want to do that. And then shortly thereafter, I got pregnant. So that was like, okay, that's going to be back burner shit. And then after that, I moved to El Paso. And my sister was like, hey, I have a friend that's starting a roller derby league here in El Paso. And I was like, yup, I want to do that. I want to be a part of that shit. So that was back in 2008, I believe, is when I saw the San Antonio Roller Girls. And then, of course, later that year is when I joined Sun City Roller Girls.
Dude, while you were saying that, I was thinking I would love to make a movie about, I mean, I guess it could be bigger. But at least doing these interviews, I've had the opportunity to interview a lot of the skaters that I started skating with in 2008, and then our first bout 2009. And it's funny because we all started around the same time. Well, we all started together, and everybody's story and how they heard about it. And it's just like really cool because we've all said, I think I can do that. Like, that's something that I could see myself doing, and it was just so empowering for everybody in a different way. But I would like to do that. I mean, I can see
And
that.
what's crazy, dude, is like we were all in like these places in our lives where like we needed something positive. We needed something that like fed our souls, and like it just so happened, like it just plopped on our laps, like, oh, Derby's happening in El Paso. I'm like, okay, well, we'll try that, whatever. And it's just like so cool. Like we found it and we found it like at a time when we all needed it. whether it's like a new mom or like, a new fucking like divorce or whatever it was that was happening. We were all dealing with some like major shit. And it was cool that Derby was there to kind of like scoop us up and pick us up, you know?
Yeah, it was a game changer in all of our lives. And I think that's why we were such like a tight unit, like for so
Yep.
long. And then like I just remember like how everybody just was down. We were like a small gang, like people knew
Mhm.
about us, like at like, those are Derby girls, you know, we were like very, like we always were in big groups. It wasn't so scattered where one or two people went, because that's what eventually it turns into,
Yep.
10 years later. But
Yep.
like we were a group and we were proud, and we did make a difference. Like we were seen places at like small, art music festivals that were here in town,
Yep.
and monthly events that would happen in the art district. And like
Yep.
um we were really bringing some people in, not just that we needed it, but I think our city needed it, because it was just something else for them to do, and it was cool, and it was loud, and it was fun, and like, yeah, it was dope. It really
Yeah.
was.
And what I really like about that is we were a platform for like local music,
Yes.
local artwork, like we were promoting like our fellow like artists in our community, and I really like appreciated that. Like okay, we're doing this crazy like roller derby thing, and it was like people are gonna be like, huh, like roller derby, what, and at the same time we're like, oh, by the way, there's like these local artists and local musicians
Vendors, they
that you
need
should
music.
be
Yeah.
familiar with, and I really like that we were a part of that we were like also promoting local talent, you know.
I know a friend that used to play with us during our halftime shows, and when we started skating at the Coliseum, they were like one of my dreams is coming true. I'm gonna get to play in the Coliseum, and it wasn't like headlining, but like it was headlining, like for our halftime show or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
but still got the opportunity to play where the big bands, when they come here, play. And it was
Exactly.
because of roller derby.
Yep.
And I wanted to say that I'm super grateful that I know the woman who's, really launched it here for all of us to have that opportunity, because nobody was doing it yet. You know what
Nope.
I mean? And
Yep.
I'm glad that she was a vessel that brought, you know, Derby to our city. And
Yeah.
well,
I
thank you
re-
for your career.
yes. Yes, thank you so much.
So how does roller derby make you feel?
Roller derby makes me feel fucking powerful. It makes me feel like I have something going on in my life. And I know all of this because of the lack thereof this last year or so. You know, I've really realized like, man, like roller derby really plays a big role in my life. Like it has big to do with like how I feel about myself, giving me opportunities to feel like proud of myself. So it's been rough this last year or so, not having roller derby in my life.
I concur. I had the opportunity to miss it too. And for a long time, I took it for granted, and I almost like saw it as a burden. Like it's just something I had to do.
Yeah.
And like it wasn't even, it was almost like an addiction where you don't even want to do it anymore. You just have to. You just
Mhm.
have to. Like, I don't even want to. I don't even like it anymore. Like, it pisses me off. I'm tired of so much of the politics of it.
Mhm.
And, but then, like, this is my last season. I can't do this to myself anymore.
Always.
And then the season opens up again. I was saying, like, 2 interviews ago, I had been talking about like I don't know how I'm gonna feel when I come back. I think I might just take it one day at a time because I'm working on X, Y, and Z, and I don't know if this is gonna be good for me anymore. And I last week we had two practices. We're just doing footwork. We're our numbers are low enough now, and
I've seen that.
I'm on fire again. It's like I'm excited.
Yep.
My feet are happy to do the things and
Yep.
so I'm
I can
just
feel that, dude. Yep. Definitely, man. We're not anywhere close at the moment, locally to be at the point to like have, practices together and shit like that. So it sucks. And like, I've seen like, you guys in El Paso already having your practices and stuff. So it has been rough seeing that and just like, I want to like do that too so bad, and it's just been hard to like set aside like what I want and just be like, okay, this is what is appropriate for our league in our area in the country and this and that, um so I'm really happy for you guys. I'm glad you guys have had a chance to like see each other and practice together and all that shit, but unfortunately we're just not quite there yet.
yeah, and I feel like it'll happen soon. I really
Oh
felt
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's gonna happen before we know it, dude. And that's one thing that we keep trying to tell the league is just like, hey man, like let's prep for this because it's happening, and I'm always trying to push like cross training kind of shit and like, oh well, we can do our trail skates and this and that, we can prep for this shit because it's happening, man. It's gonna come pretty soon. um but it's just not soon enough. Unfortunately.
give me a second. My hot water is burning.
Okay.
I'm burning water.
Oh shit.
Okay. Does my light look okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think so.
Because earlier I had it like a little brighter and then like super washed out, but I also don't want to look like really like old and dark, like with like the dark bags all scary and shit. Like I'm gonna tell
No, 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 you look good, you look good.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you're good.
tell a story. I'm all ooh, and it's good.
I feel that, dude. The other day, like, because I work in a classroom as like a teacher's aide, and the kids were like, how old are you? And I was like, and some kids were like, that's like rude to ask that and this and that. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna say it. I'm like, I'm 41, okay. And they're like, wow, you don't look 41. And I was just like, yes, I need this. I need this, guys.
Dude, I'm gonna be 43 next week.
Isn't that That's so crazy, dude. But do you still get carded when you go like buy alcohol or anything like that? I get carded when I buy cigarettes even.
I don't smoke or drink anymore, so I don't get carded for anything.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's fine.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't bought an alcohol and I don't remember like the last time. I was trying to like actually think about it because I know like just because I went to recovery didn't mean like I stopped right away. I had like I had slips and then whatever. But like when I was looking, I had the most slips after the first year of recovery. Like because I thought I could handle it because I
Yeah.
had been doing so well like the 1 year. So the second year I had more slips and they were like, and then I had learned how to kind of do like drink but moderately.
Mm-hmm.
But I just didn't like how it made me feel anymore
Yeah.
because I constantly had to be like should I have another one? How am I
Mm-hmm.
feeling? If I have
Mm-hmm.
another one, will I stop after that one? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I was always like keeping tabs on myself, and I wasn't even having
Yeah.
fun. It was like, this isn't even fun. It's just too, I have to be way too responsible. And if I just go with it, like, you're not going to see me for 3 days. I'm going to be just freaking drinking. So, like,
Feel that, dude. Yep.
um, I did. I think the last time I drank, I had 2 shots of tequila all night. Like I
Mm-hmm.
just sipped it, and so I didn't even have like a buzz. And people kept buying me like, "What are you drinking? Shot of tequila or whatever." So like I remember one, like they were in these little plastic cups, and the wind took it, and I was like, "Cool," because I would get nervous because I like even that people pleaser in me would be like, "Well, they bought it for you," you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
and so what's it called? I remember it fell over, like, and then I just kept pouring them in my glass, and I would just sip it like if I was drinking poison, dude. I was drinking it like I was drinking poison because, like, for me, I was, like I was just like, oh. And then the next day, I was like super proud of myself. I got home, made sure my friend got home, and put the trash cans out. And I was like, I'm such a responsible drinker. And then the next day, I had a hangover. My stomach
Ah,
hurt, my head hurt, and I was like,
yeah.
I
This
get drunk
sucks.
and I
Yeah.
have a hangover. I'm through with you, alcohol. I'm so done with you. You always leave me like this, feeling like shit.
Yes. Yes.
Give me a good time.
Oh, dude. I'm almost there. I'm almost there, dude.
And I'm
Like,
not judging. That's just my like. That was my last. Like I was like, dude, like I can't deal with you anymore. We don't work. We don't work. We're
yeah,
not
we
working
don't
out.
work together. Yep.
Stuck
I,
together.
I feel you, dude. I swear I'm almost there, like I get to drink on the weekends, and I just stay home or whatever. But that whole like feeling of the like uh hangover and all that shit, that has definitely been like, you see it's not worth it, and so I feel like I'm almost there. I have done the no alcohol thing before, and I think I've done it like I did it for like maybe 6 months, and I didn't have any alcohol that whole time. And it was great. And then I started drinking again, and it starts with just like, oh, a little sip, and oh, I can manage this, and so
A glass of wine, dude. Wine ucks me up. Make
yeah,
you feel
dude.
like you're being like a better person about it. I mean, I personally don't judge anybody who drinks. I used to be a little judgy when I was like cleaning up my act, but that was
Yeah,
because I was judging myself. Now that I
right. You don't want to be around that. Yeah,
yeah, or like, oh my God. But like now I really enjoy watching people enjoy a drink and dance and have fun. And
yeah,
I, I think that that's cool that they can still enjoy that. I couldn't
right.
even enjoy it anymore. So
Mhm.
like, I'm like, that's cool. I don't want to be you tomorrow, but like, that's cool. Like, it's nice to like see you having fun. Like
Exactly. Yes.
I
Yes.
wake up feeling like shit sometimes even now, and I don't drink anymore, and I'm like, how did I do it? How would I
Yeah.
punch myself in the face?
I could have had some drinks last night. Damn it.
Dude, it was crazy. I don't know. But are you okay if we leave this part in the interview? Because I think it's
Yeah.
really,
Either way. Yeah. It's all good. Yeah.
I wasn't planning that, but that was good stuff.
Yeah.
People need to hear, like I'm
Yeah.
almost there. This is how I feel about drug, like
Hmm. Yeah. For sure.
okay. So your alter ego, how did you find it?
So, originally I wanted to be Mallory Knocks You Out, a little play off of
It's so similar
Mal,
if you had that name. I would have totally made like
right? So yeah, a little play off of Mallory Knox from like Natural Born Killers and all that. But at the time, there was like this big thing of like, you have to check on two evils and make sure your name's not taken and this and that. And like, oh dude, Mallory Knox and all the varieties of that name were like way, way taken. Like there's no way I could be Mallory Knox. But so that was my originally plan, was Mallory knocks you out. And so it couldn't happen. And so one night, my sister and I were just like driving around. We're just like throwing out ideas. And, she ended up with, pepper spray your face, and like, oh, I like that one. Pepper spray your face. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then like me, I'm like a huge like John Hughes fan and all of his movies and this and that. And so I don't know where it came from, but I came up with Molly Ringurneck. And, my number is 16 candles. And it is all in part to, John Hughes and the character that he created. And so, yeah, so that's where Molly Ringurneck came from, was just my affinity for the John Hughes films of like teenagers back in the 80s or whenever his shit was popular.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt like you lost Molly Ring your neck? And if so, how did you find her again?
So, I started out Derby back in El Paso. And not only did we start Sun City Roller Girls, but I was also a part of the group of girls that started El Paso Roller Derby. And so, it kind of feels like I've always been like starting a league from the ground up. And so, so when I moved up here to Tulsa, which was for a job, I I did a little bit of research of like local leagues and this and that. And there was two. And so I was like, I want to join the one that's like more like higher ranked in the WIFTA rankings. Um, and I was like, well, before I join them, I'm going to take a little bit of time off, because I was coming from El Paso and all the drama that came with like starting the new league and this and that. And so I just, Derby and me were just kind of like on a brink, and I moved to a new state, a new city, a new job, and all this shit. So I was just kind of like focused on all of that. And so I took, a few months off, and then eventually I showed up at one of the Green Country Roller Girls practices here in Tulsa. Um, and how did I find Molly again? It's crazy because like when I came up here, the second practice that I went to ended with like the president having a little like group huddle or whatever, and she was saying how she was moving down to Texas, to Dallas, and she was dissolving the league and she was taking the name with her, and so being new to the area and the league, and I was just like, oh, so I just basically worked with like the people that were there, that were like, well, we still want to do derby shit, even if you're leaving. And so that's how I found Molly again. I was just like, okay, well, we got to get back, you know, back on track and get, everything situated again, and just like refocus on like, okay, this is a new league, this is a new time, this is a new everything or whatever, and like full speed ahead kind of deal. So yeah, that was the one time that I was not quite Molly, but I found myself quickly just because like I had to.
She needed to get shit together. She needed to
Had to get some shit done, dude. Yeah.
gotta bring Molly out.
Right.
What were you looking for in roller derby?
Originally, it was something that I could do that was like difficult, but still something that, I could do. When I decided to join roller derby in El Paso, I didn't really know what to expect. I was just like, oh, this is something cool and tough that I can do. And little did I know that it would be like a major source of like my self worth and my self like identity and like uh just such a big role in my life. Like I had no idea. So what I was looking for, just like something to do, what it turned into was like, this is a big part of my life. It's a big part of my life and who I am, and like uh, a big part of like my drive in life, you know, something that makes me go out and do the uncomfortable or whatever. um and yeah, that's the role that derby has played in my life.
Mm. That's so funny that you say that. Like, it's not funny, but it's true. You know, it's true, like how it just becomes such a big part. And I know for me, for a while, like I kind of felt like Sunny and Cher with roller derby, where I was trying to like go on my own, and like everybody would associate me with derby. And
Yeah,
I did a photo shoot. It was like, can you bring your skates? Are you gonna bring your skates? And I was like, No, like I'm not doing derby right now. Like, or I when I did the poetry book, or what is it about derby? And I'm like, no, and like you know, what I mean? Or
yeah,
it's like derby girl before author. And for a while I felt like that child actor that couldn't like let go of like that, you know,
yeah,
part of me. And um and now I kind of embrace it again, where it's like it's cool, it's going to be part of my life forever, because that's, you know, it's been part of my life for forever, like like over a decade of my life now. And
yeah,
so it's true, like it does, you know, as much as you try to get away from this alter ego, or this like, you know, this persona that you know, you discovered. I don't even want to say invented. In the beginning it feels like you invented her, but you discover her,
yeah,
or yourself.
absolutely, yeah,
And you're just like, I can't stop like hitting people and I
yeah,
can't stop skating really fast. And you
yeah,
know, that's that's where I feel alive. And I've said it in other interviews.
exactly,
It's like, because thrill seekers love being in the moment. And when you're on the track, you better be in the
you
fucking
better
moment.
be on the moment, yeah,
And
yeah,
you don't have time to think about who's disrespecting you and what bill you're not paying. And, you know, like, um, you know, you're on the, like, that's where I found where I was respected. That's where I felt like, you know, I could be my best self, you
yeah,
know, and it
yeah.
was,
Like
it,
whether you like it or not, it's going to be a big part of who you are in other people's lives anyways, you know, because it is so like different. You know, you're not the regular like stay-at-home mom kind of person. Like you play roller derby, you know, and that's different, you know, and people like to like talk about that. People like to focus on that, you know, and you, whether you like it or not, it's going to be a big part of who you are, you know. And I agree. I've totally learned to like embrace it and just like, yeah, I'm a derby girl. Like this is what I do.
yeah. I like, oh, for a while I'd be like, well, I do other things, you know, like I wrote
Yeah.
a book, I wrote two books, you know, like
Dude, you actually do other shit. Yes.
do
Like for me, like I don't, this whole time that we've been off for the pandemic, like I haven't done shit, dude. I've become like a ultimate like Facebook poster, and
other.
that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it because I'm like, well, I can do derby. Like that's something that I know I can do. I can do derby. And until that's back, I'm just like,
Yeah, I, yeah, but you know, it's good. It's like, I'm cool with it now. I think I needed to have peace with Derby for
Hmm.
me to like finally want to be like, yeah, we're in a relationship. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I guess I'm never gonna leave Derby. You know what I mean? Like I
yep.
try.
Major part of my life. Yes, I embrace that.
So how did your first practice go?
Okay, so my first practice, I remember, my sister told me about, Derby starting out from El Paso, and I'm like, okay, cool. And I think it was like maybe a couple weeks after that I actually had time to like show up to a practice. And I walk in and I see your enemy, and she has like that full sleeve on her arm and shit, she's all tatted up and this and that, and I see her at first and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I am okay to be here. Like, I'm just like a dumbass, I don't know. I don't have a whole bunch of cool tattoos. I'm not like that cool.
Mhm.
And so whatever. So it was just like, I'm just gonna like check it out, whatever. And I had to borrow gear. I had to borrow probably skates. I don't know. But like, so I was just like out there like fucking deer on ice and shit. And like super intimidated because I thought everyone that was there that night was like super cool and like super badass. And I was just like so sure that they were gonna that I was gonna be like found out for like the poser that I was like walking in. They're gonna see me for my fucking like lies. I don't belong here kind of shit.
My nerd self.
Yeah.
Mhm. I went and you guys were already there. You and Pepper
No
already
way.
had your
No
name.
way. Because I remember you. I remember you, and you had AJ in like a little car seat, and he was like on the table, and in his little car seat, and we all kind of like, took
Watch him.
like turns of like watching him. There's a little baby, and we're all like moms, so we're just like, oh, like let's take care of this little baby.
And
So
like
I don't know if you showed up after me or not, because I do remember seeing AJ
I
there at
remember
practice.
like now that I see like our kids, they were all basically the same age, but I was the only one. I was like, why didn't I know that they had babies my same kids age? Because I felt so lonely. That's why I joined Derby. I had like no friends. I had just had a baby, 9 months when I started. He was 9 months when I started skating, and um, I just yeah, I'd gone through some shit. It's in my book, and
Yeah.
like um, and so yeah, I was the only one who I up to when AJ was like a toddler, and I would be doing push-ups, and he'd get on my back, and I'd be running practice, and I was like, I guess because you guys had somebody to watch your kids, and I just always had to bring him. So, but
Yeah.
everybody helped me out, like, and that was
Yeah.
really cool. Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah, 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 for sure. That's one thing that I really loved about it, is just like, we were all like moms, and like some of us were fortunate enough that we had, a baby daddy or somebody to watch our kiddos during practice. But like for you and anyone else that showed up with their kid, I mean, we were just like, yeah, like you need to be here, you need to be at practice, and we're gonna help you by watching your baby, because we're
yeah,
all fucking moms. Like this is
yeah.
what we do.
Bring the older
Yeah.
kids. The older
So
kids would come and help with the younger kids, and like, I have some toys at the house. We can
mhm.
bring them. Like, yeah, and
Yeah,
that, we needed that. A lot of people need that. And
absolutely. Absolutely, dude.
how was your first bout?
Um Honestly, I don't remember. I know out there in Derby land, I know out there there's some like pictures of it or like,
So it was the White Russians versus the Bloody Marys. Do you remember that? That
Okay.
was our first bout.
Okay, hold up. I'm gonna move you over here because like I do have this. I do have this. Can you see that?
Yeah, that's it. That's our first
That's
poster.
our first bout. That's our first picture. And that was February 22nd, 2009. So like, I know there's shit out there that is like, proof that that happened. But do I remember it? No. I don't remember it, man. It was like,
I just remember being a White Russian.
what do you remember what team I was on?
Mm,
I think I was a White Russian, but I don't remember.
you might have been.
I don't remember. I don't know.
I just remember because that was one of my first tank tops, and I had that one for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
It was white.
That's right. I think I was a White Russian.
Yeah.
I think I have a white T-shirt somewhere with that. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't remember my first bout, but I know that I've had a ton since then.
Yeah.
A ton of bouts since then.
That's awesome.
No.
I don't know what's up with my ear. Have you and roller derby ever broken up?
Have we ever broken up? No. We've had some hard times. We've had some like difficulties here and there. We've had some rough patches before. But no matter what, I've always had my eye on the prize, and that being like, when can I bout again? When can I skate again? When can I, practice again? I've had like so many injuries and changes in leagues. Um, I've had a lot of, heartbreaks and this and that with derby. But never have I ever thought like, I'm not doing this ever again. Like even now, 10 plus years into it, uh, I continue to think like, when can I skate again? When can I bout again? That it's just been my focus, like I said earlier, it's a big part of my life. It's a big part of who I am, and it gives me, so much positivity and like sense of self-worth and uh so I've yet to come across something that I'm just like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I've gotten close. I've gotten close, but never, I just always have wanted to skate and be a part of a team like that.
What have been some of your obstacles, do you feel like, that have tried to come between you and derby?
A lot of my obstacles are like myself, feeling like I can't do it or I'm not good enough or feeling like I don't deserve to be good at something, so a lot of my obstacles are just myself and just being a dickhead to myself.
We're so good at that. We're so
I
good.
know. I know. But it's all good though. It's all good because once I start, skating again and like practicing again, I get that like renewed feeling of like, hey, I'm pretty good at this, like I'm not like, so horrible or whatever. Like I can do this. Like, yeah, it's something I can be proud of.
No, you're right. I feel the same way. Like, I'm pretty good at this. I can do
Yeah,
this. I have the same thoughts. They're like, I'm not the worst, and I could totally get better. And every practice I go to, I'm getting better. And
yeah,
I'm doing things that I didn't think I'd be able to do.
yeah,
And I'm like, it's not it,
yeah.
like in the beginning, I want to say it kind of came easy to me,
Mm-hmm.
and like I was talking with in another interview with Dee Dee Dynamite. We were talking about how we stayed with the league that we were with so much, and roller derby was evolving around us, but we were in our own little world with our own four teams, and we were getting better, but just in that league,
Right.
So when we came out and did WIFTDA, we realized that we weren't as
Yeah.
good as we
You're in a
were.
vacuum. Yeah, you're in a vacuum. Yeah, absolutely. You don't realize where you're at, if you're always scrimmaging and practicing with the same people and all that, you don't have a realistic grasp of like who you are as a player until you do start playing other teams, other
Our
people.
teams, different people, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, how do you feel about the derby community?
Right now,
Mhm.
uh
That's
I'm kind
good.
of on the fence because, there's a lot of people that are, posting on Facebook and shit that they're like, back at practice and stuff. And it, it sucks because there's a lot that, they probably shouldn't be back at practice yet, because their COVID numbers aren't where they need to be. And so I'm kind of like in this space where I'm just like, oh, that's probably too a little bit too soon for them. But
Mhm.
I'm also, really happy to see people like skating again, doing practices again, because I know how much joy it brings, and I know how much like positivity it like brings into your life. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence right now. I applaud people that are safely going back to practice and all that shit. And I'm also a little bit of a judgmental to those that are not quite ready, and they're kind of like scathing, scathing a little bit on like what's safe and what's not, and what's on that, lifted a like their little build up that they've got. And so I don't know. I love Derby, and I think everyone should be involved and all that shit. But I also really wish that everyone was like safe, so
Mhm.
that, big picture, we can all get back to skating that much sooner.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm interested to hear the answer to this because
Okay.
I don't get to talk to you that often.
I know.
What has been your worst derby moment?
Worst Derby moment. Honestly, the worst one is just like this one picture, and after the fact, I refuse to find this picture for you because we're not going to show it.
Why?
But it was capturing such a great moment too. It was like the pistoleras, and we won like a whole season like undefeated, and it was like, and it was like me and my sister, I think, or like someone in like the pistoleras, and but unfortunately the photographer like didn't give a shit about what my face looked like. because, because like I'm just like like literally when I and then of course it was like after the game, so like sweat and it was like and I was like oh dude, it was it was horrible. And I saw it and even my sister was like you don't want to see this one picture of you, dude. Like it's pretty bad. And I see it, I'm like, oh, that's awful. And so that is definitely my worst derby moment. And I've had other like shit moments or whatever, but that one's the worst because it's like captured in fucking pictures. So somewhere out there's that picture of me looking all fucking horrid and like
Every
like
time
a
it comes
fucking
up.
troll, dude. It was so awful. It was awful.
I know. It's those like one pictures that always come up because there's somebody else's memories and so many people are tagged on them. So every time somebody's memory, like they tag you again, and I'm just like, I'm
Like,
done
please
with
no.
that picture, dude.
Not for me, thank you. No thanks.
I'm not putting that shit on my wall again. It's like the 15th time this
I'm trying to forget
month.
it, man. I'm trying to forget it. I'm trying to move on. You keep bringing that shit
I live my life.
please. Yeah.
Oh, Memorex. So what has been your best derby moment?
My best one also in that same like time frame, so skating with Sun City Roller Girls, we were all like intra league, so we only played ourselves, and my team was the Pistoleras. And years prior there seemed to be a little bit of a favoritism with our like refs in favor of the Chukotan Chulas. And so, me and my team, the Pistoleras, we took it upon ourselves that we're like, you know what? We're going to get so damn fucking good that no fucking ref is going to come in between us and that fucking win. Right. And so, so we worked hard and I mean, it was just amazing that whole season. We all had this like unified vision, this unified goal of like, we are going to be the team to fucking beat in Sun City Roller Girls, and that whole season we all worked so hard and we all cross trained and we all made it to all the practices and we were whatever. So that whole fucking season, every time we played, we won. And so last game of the season just so happened to fall on my 30th birthday. And so granted, changing a decade in my life, trying to like wrap my head around like I am now in my 30s, and then on top of that, fucking divorce, and I just had a new baby, and like so there was all kinds of like shit that was just like and all this season we worked towards this, and that last game on my 30th birthday we fucking won. And it was not easy, and like there was no way that any like ref could like fuck with shit and like call us out on this or whatever. Like we fucking won, there was no doubt about it. And that night was just like, I mean, epic. Like it was a goal we all had, and we all went and put in the work throughout, months and months and months. And then to see it like come to fruition, it was just like, we fucking did this. And so forever and ever, it was just the most epic, like, derby event that's happened in my life, because like I said, it was on my 30th birthday. If it wasn't for derby, I would have probably been pretty like bummed that like I'm now like in my 30s and I'm fucking old and I have a baby and I have a baby daddy and like but because of derby, I had something that I could be like, hey, check this out, we fucking did it. So that's definitely my favoriteest memory of derby, winning that season.
Winning always feels good, man.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah.
I've been on some losing teams for a while. That builds character,
Dude,
really.
oh no, yeah, no. I've been on some losing teams, but absolutely, it just makes you appreciate like, hey, teamwork and all the other shit. Let's not focus on like winning. Like, let's not focus on the points. We get to focus on this other shit. Which is also important. But you don't really think about it unless that's all you got.
Yeah, and then also, but yeah, it just makes those wins so much sweeter. And also, I've heard a lot of skaters, me included, some of the worst games were some of my best games. Where I
Mm-hmm.
played my fucking heart out and I did like a really great job, like,
Yep,
and it was like, yeah, we lost, but we all played really fucking well. You know what I mean? Like
for
some of it
sure.
were, like our best games, and so
For sure.
that's cool too. But all those feelings come with being part of derby,
Yeah.
and like you said, like when people hear, oh, you're in roller derby, it's like, it's a contact sport and we're all adults. Like, how many adults in their 40s are playing contact sports? You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
I mean, unless they're getting paid, they're usually not.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, how are you coping with the pandemic and not being able to skate?
So, I was voted in to the position of vice president at the beginning of this year. And so basically, my big focus has been like, how can we get this league, re-engaged and safe, and like, what can we do to like build our people up. um so I wish I could say like, oh, I took up this new like hobby, or I learned this new like language, or like, but uh, derby is so ingrained in me. Like, I don't really have any other like affiliation with anything else. Like, derby is what I know and derby is what I do. And so now that on a worldwide basis there's no derby, my focus is still derby. And so the way I've been coping with it is just like doing what I can as far as like cross training, but also focusing on like my league and shit that we can do to stay engaged and healthy and strong and all that shit. So yeah, I mean that's basically all I've been doing since the coronavirus started. It's just focusing on my league.
That's awesome. That's a different answer than I've been getting, and I love that. I love that some people are like, not a damn thing. It's derby. That's what I do. It's like, oh, I started cycling instead, or, I did like when I started racing when I was trying to like wean off derby. And I just remember it not being the same because I wasn't hardly hit her. I was just, I was D. And at the finish line, it's not the same as going around the track and slapping everybody's hand and like, oh yeah, Harley, nobody was cheering me on. I
Yeah.
had to cheer myself on and do it for
Yeah.
myself. And eventually I started to really enjoy training when I had time, not having to go to practice,
Hmm.
there was different aspects. So I have two loves and I love them for different reasons,
Yeah.
but they both like, I like racing and I like derby. And, before I was cheating on derby to race. And then I felt like I was cheating on racing to do derby. And now it's just like, you know what? Like, there's enough of me for both of you.
There's enough for you to spread around. And when
Yeah,
you say racing, are you talking about like running
like,
or like bicycling?
so I started the first thing I started doing was a triathlon. So it was swim, bike, run. And
Hmm.
then I did like some duathlons that were just bike runs. And I've done two marathons. I've done two half marathons. So basically I'll do anything that, you know,
Yeah.
requires skates, bikes,
For your
running,
feet.
yeah, and swimming.
Yeah.
So
I
pepper,
will say I look up to you in that sense. I have always been a runner myself.
you do.
I've done like a bazillion 5Ks or whatever back in like 2016 or 2015, I think. I did a half marathon.
Nice.
And I've yet to like do that again or like train for like a full marathon. Um, but so I have a huge appreciation for like runners and the like huge like endeavor to like, oh, I'm gonna run 26 miles or like, whatever. Like, nobody really thinks about it, but like you gotta train for that shit, man. Like you don't just like decide one day I'm gonna run 26 miles today. You have to train for that. And so, just seeing you and like accomplish these things and do your like triathlons and all that shit. Like I'm always like, man, my wifey's doing some hardcore shit. I need to like I need to like, bring it up a little bit, whatever. So you do definitely inspire me to like, you know, continue to work and like try to be stronger and all that shit. So
I
yeah.
I get inspired by you though, by sticking to one thing and being a badass at like where I dabble in this and I'm like, I just spread myself thin where I wish I could like put my energy into one thing and just be like fucking amazing like you are, you know what I mean? But I'm like half-assing like five different things, you know what I mean? Just faking it till I make it, trying to get through the pack, and then
Yeah, dude.
I just ran 8 miles before that. So I'm just giving everybody like a piece of, what I can give. But I don't know how to just do that. Like,
Yeah.
I just like I want to do everything, there's so
Yeah.
you like I can only give you like 3 months of my life. I can only give you like,
Yeah.
so, but admire that, that you
I
focus.
admire you, damn it.
Do you have any words of encouragement for people right now?
Absolutely. So I think about, my league now and kind of where we're at with like, engagement and all that stuff. And surely there's other leagues and other board of directors out there that are probably in the same boat. So my my words of wisdom or whatever is that, hang in there and have faith that we will have Derby again. Work towards that goal. Right now we don't have our weekly, practice obligations and all that stuff. So now you can take it upon yourself and, strengthen and do whatever cross training stuff that you can find time for, because again, it's not like a weekly thing at Wednesday at 7 p.m. It can be Monday morning at 6 a.m. before you go to work. It can be Friday night, since you're not doing anything, you might as well get something done. So find time to cross train, because practices and Derby will be back before you know it. I say just bring it, do what needs to be done. And so that way when we are, good to go, we're good to go, with our skates rolling on the floor, full speed ahead.
Awesome. Um, Pepper was messaging me. I was like, I wonder if she wants to get on this.
Oh, can she jump on? That would be awesome. I haven't seen her in a while.
So let's talk about how we decided to get married.
Okay. Well, for one, I will say that my memory is like pretty shot. Like a lot of what I remember is based on like what I've heard you say and like what you have written in your book and shit like that. And I just, so I just go with that. So like as far as I remember, and again, a lot of it is just like shit that I've read from your book and all that, is like, I knocked you out and I took like your wind away. I hit you so hard,
Yeah.
and it kind of left a lasting impression with you, and so that kind of gave you the goal to like take me out at some point. And so at some point in some game, we were on different teams, and you caught me. You caught me off guard. I was not paying attention or whatever. And you knocked me out. And like I went like flying,
No,
well.
like you Superman. You Superman, which was, and so, but I was going around the corner and I looked back at you and you were like this, but like Superman. And like you were so proud of me. And I was just like, I finally did it. So yes, for one of our first practices, I was on a corner and Molly came on the angle of like the corner, just like perfectly, and like took me out, dude. And I hit this wall because it was such a small venue. And when I fell, like, so when I hit the wall, it knocked the air out of me. And I was on the floor and I was like, like I couldn't get like the wind back. And I got up and I was skating and I was still trying to get another like breath. And I was like, shit, dude, like maybe I shouldn't like be doing this. This is fucked up. And as soon as I started getting my wind back, I was like, no, I'm good. Like I could totally do this. Like, but then after that, I was like, I need to be able to knock her down. And so I would go up against Molly every chance I get, and we would like laugh, because I was like a little chihuahua, like, she would just kind of giggle because she would feel like that.
Just like bounce off of me, dude.
Yeah. And so we would have such a good time that like I was like, what do you want to marry me? Like one day I'm gonna knock you down. But like I had so much fun hitting her, that like it was just fun. So
Yeah.
we got married, and then
And what's awesome is that, in the whole like derby life or whatever, everybody has a derby wife or derby mistress or derby partner or whatever, and I am so grateful, so fortunate that I have been able to go to RollerCon with my wifey, and we could say our vows to each other, like in the presence of all these derby peeps and this and that, and we have like a like wedding certificate and all that, and like I love it. Everybody goes through their derby experience, and they all got their derby wives or whatever, but very few, or less than most, have actually been able to go to RollerCon and say their vows and all that shit, and I still have my little diploma or certificate or whatever, and I have it in uh, a frame, that I have up. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I have mine too. So I have had Pepper Spray Your Face on the show before, and this is her sister, and this is my derby wife. We'll see if we can get her. Let me try calling her and see.
Okay, that would be awesome. So my sister and I, what's really cool is like she started out, derby around the same time as me. We were on the same league, but when it came time to split up into different teams, she ended up on a different team as I. And so she and I were on two different teams for a while.
I'm interviewing your sister, and we wanted to put you on the Zoom so that you could be part of the interview. Well, we're almost done, so we're doing this towards the end of the interview.
I was talking about how, like, it sucked when we first started, we were on different teams, but it was cool how, like, at the end of, FCRG, we got to be on the same team, and we're both pistoleras, and like together we're like this badass fucking blocking force, like
for real.
Oh yeah,
for real.
I mean, somebody had to fucking literally steer off the course just to avoid us.
Yeah, the sisters, they were a force to be reckoned with.
Like, I'm just out. I'm just going out of bounds and out of the way because I'm just done. No thanks.
They did not want to confront us that badly.
Dude, well,
I remember that. Oh, I remember that. Oh, good times, man. And so, I mean, the way I explain to people is like, to be a good like blocking duo, a good blocking setup, you got to have some good like communication and like understand what that person is capable of and what you're capable of and how you can like complement each other, whatever. So you take all of that and you add your sister that you've known like your whole life, and it turns into like this amazing thing because I could just like look at you and I just like, I know what you're gonna do. I know what you know what I'm gonna do. Like, okay, we're gonna do this shit together. Like, it's just the most like perfect like setup, the sisters. The Twisted Sisters is what I remember us being called. Yeah.
And it's funny, I just had brunch with like a lot of the old pistoleras today.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah. So I was like, oh shit, and everybody's there, I was like, it's the pistoleras.
Pistoleras for life.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang up with you guys now. Just kidding. But what was cool is that the end of first season, we all got to skate on one same team. We were Detroit City Rockers, right?
Oh yeah. Yep.
And we
That was
won.
super
We
cool.
won that day.
That was a great one. Yes. I still have that shirt, dude. I still have that shirt and I still wear it. It's like
I
a
would
Black Sabbath t-shirt.
No, mine got ripped, like down the side. Somebody
Mm.
tried to fight me after the game.
What was your band? What was your tea about?
Led Zeppelin.
Nice.
I had Led Zeppelin. What did you have? David Bowie. You had David Bowie, didn't you?
No, I had David Bowie.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
That's what I said.
Oh,
I'm pointing at you, but you can't see me.
You're looking at
Like, I know. I'll put the picture. I think it was in your video also that of us and the pizza and Lorraine.
Aw.
Titty tat. Double D. Was it double D? Her number?
Titty tat. Yeah. Aw, titty tat.
Fun times.
And people need to appreciate the glory of that name. So she's like a tattoo artist, and she also has big titties. So her derby name is Titty Tat, it's like it's kind of perfect. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and then her number being her bra size. It's perfect.
I know, right? Just add it all out there.
Right? That's like her like bio. Right?
38 double D.
Titty tap.
Titty tat.
That's awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I also want to thank you for being on the show. You for being our guest. I want to thank Olivia for helping with promotion and editing, and Mom McCartney. I couldn't do it without you guys. And this concludes this episode with my derby wife, Molly Ringurneck, and Pepper Sprayo Face, my sister.
What?